You see, I bought the Switch 2 on release date. I was really happy. I reviewed it. It's on my channel if you're interested. And I played it non-stop for the first 3 weeks. And then, after the 3 weeks, I would like it to call it a Switch 2 fatigue. I haven't touched it since, except maybe when any friends or family came over. But that's it. I was also dumb enough to give Nintendo a additional $10 for its Tears of the Kingdom upgrade. But it's bad, man. It's really bad. I mean, everywhere you look, I feel like the only way I can describe it is either the bus meme with like the person on the left side looking very happy and looking at the castle, and the other one's like really sad and looking at a gray mountain. And I would describe these two sides as the right one. People trashing Nintendo, which is totally fair for how greedy and shitty they are, but that's for another video. And on the other side, you have people glazing Nintendo so hard, it's like they're begging them to be spit on by the company again, paying more for less content, and somehow they're, I don't know, kind of enjoying it. It's wild. And slowly I realized something in myself. Maybe I'm just tired of seeing Mario's mustache in Ultra HD. Maybe I don't care about the how realistic the grass looks in a Zelda trailer. But what I do care about is the world building, the characters, story, the storytelling, the themes, the atmosphere, the weird unique stuff that felt really handcrafted and original, the kind of games that didn't need to flex power to feel magical. So instead of doom scrolling hoping the next Switch 2 update will be dual screen or them adding menu themes and music, I went back to the roots, back to the last time Nintendo actually really felt unique and magical. Do you remember the Nintendo DS? That little hiss when it booted up, you know, the clamshell click you could feel in your bones. The stylus that always got lost. I mean, I owned 3 DS's and all of them got lost, unfortunately. Great, very great games. Everyone had the headliners, your Marios, your Pokémons, and Zeldas. But tucked between those giants of franchises, you had these strange little cartridges nobody talked about. Sun-faded labels, some S-tier box art, and some totally disasters. You know, the ones you see at those bins, like those discount bins you picked up just because the box art looks really cool. Growing up, my mom had one rule for every media I consumed. It was no guns, no killing, no violence, none of that. So my options were not much. So I either had to like hop on the computer, the home computer, and play on those early game websites where you had tons of mini games, or you had Nintendo. And one day she actually gave me green lights to get a Nintendo gaming hardware. And yeah, sure, I missed out on the Call of Duty lobbies and the chaos and Kratos beheading people, but honestly, Nintendo wasn't a bad trade-off. I still remember 2010 going to the store and seeing the dark blue DSi sitting there like it had been waiting for me, not knowing that little thing was about to become a core memory of my life. And of course, I needed a game to go with it, you know, so I went with what everyone went with. May I present you World of Zoo. I mean, I was obsessed with animals back then, so the choice made perfect sense. But it's kind of ironic that I skipped Animal Crossing, which would have been a much better choice. But from there, a whole universe opened. I played so many DS titles that were really great. And then one day, a friend of my dad handed me the secret sauce. And at that time, I only had a few games. So, you know, I was out of content real quick. But this man, this legend, looked at me and goes, "You wanna see something crazy?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So he took my DS, disappeared for a week, venturing across the 7 digital waters, and comes back with what I can only describe as the cartridge of dreams. Over 450 games on one cartridge. I was stunned, shocked. I thought that thing was a myth, a playground rumor, a pirate's tale passed between kids who knew a guy that knew another guy that happened to get one of those also. But he handed to me like he was passing on the forbidden scrolls of the Hidden Leaf Village, and I held it up like Link holding the Master Sword, and suddenly I had access to a whole another universe of great games I would never see in stores, random titles with names I couldn't even pronounce, and stuff that felt like it came from an alternate timeline. I really played everything on that single cartridge, and recently when I tried to relive those days chasing the after school nostalgia hit, I realized that I didn't remember any of those titles and the names of the characters. And so I went on Google searching things like the S game where you had to do X in place Y with character Z, and it was really hard to describe the characters too. And or I also searched like top 20 underrated DS games, and I got like Pokemon and Mario, those you know, those big franchises. So I found nothing, and totally by chance I helped a friend of mine sort through a massive Nintendo collection, and then all the memories came flooding back to me like light. You know that scene where like Light touches the Death Note again and he remembers everything? Yeah, it was the same thing. It was great. Contact, Attack of the Friday Monsters, The World Ends With You, Pets Rescue, Hotel Dusk, Time Hollow, Ghost Trick, Touch Detective, Professor Layton. You have Life Sims, Animal Crossing rip-offs, Murder Mysteries, Cozy Oddities, Brain Teasers, and a lot of math. You know, it's a whole secret underground history living on tiny gray rectangles. And it still amazes me how huge the DS and 3DS libraries are. I picked up a new Nintendo 2DS recently to replay a bunch, and I've been really enjoying it. I have no regrets at all. And you know, you honestly cannot get tired of the DS and 3DS library combo. It's too deep, too curious for its own good. And yeah, I know everyone's out there either complaining about or glazing Nintendo over the Switch 2, but we will save that circus for another day. Right now I just want to rewind, go back to the chunky plastic days, falling headfirst down in this DS-shaped rabbit hole. Because with a library that massive, you have to wonder, how many games did we actually play that no one else remembers? Do you ever think like, wait, did that game actually exist, or was it just a Mandela effect, or did I just dream it maybe? That's why I'm making this video, because I really had the same thing when I was struggling to find all those hidden titles. And I want to dig up those forgotten cartridges and figure out what actually happened. Were they really that mid, or did the Marios, Zeldas and Pokémons just bury them by existing? Were they hidden gems, or are we just wearing the nostalgia goggles, remembering a time when we picked random games because maybe you liked animals or Disney or math? And also, why did Nintendo's handhelds get so many of these quirky physical releases? Well, you know, most indie games today just drops digitally. Maybe they weren't failures at all, or maybe they were quite successes that never got the spotlight. Whatever the case, I keep coming back to that one big question. How did the DS and 3DS end up with libraries, you know, this massive and this unique, this chaotic, compared to the polished hit-driven vibe of the, you know, the Switch era? So yeah, we're gonna crack open the cases, diving into the shadows cast by the Mario, Pokemon and Zelda franchises, booting up the deep cuts and fact-checking our memories. Okay, so I want to start with a few that I really think deserve more attention. Games I've been replaying recently and actually kind of fell in love with all over again. Not because they were perfect, but because of how different they were. They had ideas, atmosphere, and this weird little, these weird little quirks you just don't see anymore in modern gaming. So let's dig them up, starting with one that was breaking the fourth wall a lot before it was even cool, before it was even a thing. And Contact is one of those DS RPGs that feel like it shouldn't exist. It's really too weird, too self-aware, too personal, but yet here it is, and it was amazing. And you know, I really wanted to discuss this one because I picked it up because I saw the box art and the title of it. Like I was sold immediately. You see the shattered glass in the middle, or I don't know if it's shattered glass, or a spider web, but I don't know. You have the boy on the left side, on the right side, standing there with an awesome jacket, the fuzzy, the curly like hair, and standing there, aura forming, mewing. The yellow detailed a glow in the title that's written in both English and in Japanese. I mean, this is S-tier box art. I really like this design. Developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, the studio led by the wonderfully unhinged Suda51, known for No More Heroes and Killer 7, was published by Atlas in 2006. Contact looks like a cute sci-fi adventure, but underneath it's this strangely introspective game about distance, curiosity, and connection through a mere screen. You play as, actually, you play as yourself. There's this mysterious white-haired scientist known as the Professor, and he crash lands his ship while hunting for lost energy cells. So, stuck in orbit, he reaches out and quite literally contacts you to help him. And he asks for your help to guide a kid, which is named Terry, who's been pulled into this mess by accident. But you don't control Terry. Well, not exactly. You're this invisible presence helping him from beyond the screen, while the Professor acts as your middleman. So Terry doesn't know you exist, only the Professor does. And that one ID that you're part of this world but kinda like unseen gives this whole game this quiet, eerie, lonely feeling. And the dual screens made it even really better. It enhances the experience because you see, on top of the dual screen you have you see the Professor's cozy lab, which with full of gadgets, a glowing monitor, and his adorable pet Mochi, which is kind of like a cat-like AI who sometimes also directly talks to you. And you have on the bottom the screen where you control Terry as he explores islands, fights enemies, and collects also energy cells for reasons that feel less noble the longer you play. It's like watching the two parallel worlds running at once, touching but never quite really overlapping. And you have some areas that are islands, and each island is its own little story, where you have a beach, a pyramid, a medieval castle, and even a city full of otaku called Habura. It's eclectic, surreal, and deeply DS coded. Gameplay wise, I mean the flaws are visible. It's a really simple action RPG. When fighting, you just walk up to enemies and you have auto attack, MMO stealth. You can cook up food to heal and use stickers called decals. I think it is decals, but I don't know. Anyway, decals for upgrades. It's slow, clunky, sometimes really frustrating, but charmingly so. And you can tell that that's where experimenting. They weren't chasing like really perfection and trying to make the best game possible. They were chasing vibes, and they really nailed the vibes, and also the soundtracks are really amazing. And that's what makes Contact special. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's got this weird Earthbound-like humor, quirky NPCs, meta jokes, and a professor who feels one part mentor and the other part an unreliable narrator. Sometimes he's really sincere and really trying to help you, and on other times he's clearly hiding something from you. He really talks to you and not Terry. Treating you like a silent assistant, and the further you get into the game, the more you start to wonder what his actual goal is. And I don't want to spoil a lot, but the ending is really amazing. So the ending takes that uncertainty and flips it back on you. You see, Terry here begins to sense that something is off, you know, that maybe he hasn't been in control all along. It's not dramatic or loud, it's just quietly unsettling, and it lingers. You realize you've spent the whole game caring about this kid, and he never even knew that you were there. When it was released, Contact barely made a sound. In Japan, it launched just weeks before Mother 3, which completely eclipsed it, selling only around 25,000 copies. Atlus later on admitted the timing killed its chances, and in the West it got almost no marketing, no big franchise name, no hype, and it slipped right through the cracks. And those who did find it though discovered an odd little gem, sitting at a modest 73 on Metacritic, quietly gathering a cult following. And yeah, calling it the Earthbound cousin no one realized was at the family reunion kind of fits perfectly. It's rough and it's awkward, but it's got soul. Contact isn't about saving the world, it's about what happens when worlds overlap even for a moment. It's about, you know, curiosity, connection, and that invisible thread between the player and a character that most games never even acknowledge. It's a flawed little DS experiment that somehow ends up saying more about what gaming is than most polished blockbusters ever could. After Contact's Cosmic Wings, I check in somewhere quieter and somehow also louder. So I want to move on to the next game, which is gonna be Hotel Dusk Room 215, and this is the DS doing noir theater. You hold the system sideways like a paperback. You scribble in a notebook with the stylus, and every conversation feels like a cigarette slowly burning down. The faces aren't just drawn, but they're kind of like, how do you say it? Rotoscoped, so actors traced into black and white pencil-lined portraits. So a raised eyebrow or a tiny lip twitch reads like a lie slipping out. It's really cool. It's the most grown-up a clamshell console has ever felt. It's really amazing. I really recommend it. I mean, the setup hooks fast. It's, you know, it's Christmas Eve 1976 in New York, and this cop called Kyle Hyde with tired eyes corners his partner, which is Brian Bradley, and pulls the trigger. Fast forward 3 years later, December 79, Kyle's off the force and selling door to door for a company called Red Crown, still chasing the shadow of a man who might be dead. His boss though sends him to a dusty roadside motel with creaky carpets and heavier secrets. One night, 10 chapters, everyone's carrying a story they don't want to tell, and what makes it really sing is how it plays with your hands and your patience. Dialogue isn't just really dialogue. You have questions bloom in your head as little panels you can tap on. Soft probes, wider curiosities, and the red hot okay talk confrontations when you finally put the evidence on table. And you can poke around rooms, flip objects, jot notes, and every so often the DS itself becomes the whole puzzle. There's one of those close the system to solve it moments. That's where you actually really use the DS. Like you close. Hold on. So this is my original 3DS, and you kind of do like this, like you're playing. So you know you're playing, right? It's kind of like a book, you know. And they're like, oh, close the system. You open it again, and there you have it. You've solved the thing. Nintendo really knew how to like make use of their consoles. Unfortunately, we cannot say that in modern days. It's really unfortunate. But anyway, the hotel staff and guests feel like they wandered in from different movies and decided to share the stage. For example, you have the gruff owner, Dunning, who pretends not to care. You have Rosa, the maid cook with mother hen energy and razor instincts. Louis, which is a reformed pickpocket turned bellhop bartender who knows the streets and knows when to keep quiet. Then you have the guests. You have an elegant woman with an eye patch and older wounds, famous novelist whose signature doesn't match, a rich kid vibrating with bad decisions. You also have a surgeon dad and his anxious daughter trying to glue a family back together, so on and so on. Each chapter swivels the lamp onto one of them, and when the red panel showdowns hit, the room temperature drops. Underneath all the mysteries, the game is about guilt and forgiveness, about who gets credit for beauty and who actually pays for it, about the families we're born with and the ones we choose at 2 a.m. in a half-empty lobby. It's patient, it trusts you to read faces, not just text. It lets silence say actually the thing. And maybe you're asking, why haven't I heard about it? Well, timing and tragedy. Ching, the studio behind this game, and another code, Trace Memory, went under in 2010. The sequel, Last Window, never officially made it to North America, so there are also no ports and no remasters. Hotel Dusk is still trapped on the DS like a message in a bottle. The silver lining is that Nintendo has been dusting off Ching's work lately, which, if we're lucky, could mean a room key gets reissued someday. So the next game has a concept so well it could only exist on the DS. A story where you use a magic stylus to literally draw holes in time. Well, that's Time Hollow, a 2008 graphic adventure by Konami and Tenki, written by Junko Kawano, the same mind behind Shadow of Memories on the PS2. You play as Ethan Kairos, a high school kid who wakes up on his 17th birthday to find his parents gone, his uncle suddenly his roommate, and a glowing pen lying on the floor. A pen that can open portals to the past. The catch, though, is that every time you use it, it drains part of your life away. It's cursed time travel. It looked like something you would buy in a Crayola box. And right away the tone hits you. It has kind of like the vibe of Life is Strange and Trace Memory, with those moody anime-style cutscenes and a soundtrack that feels like melancholy bottled. The gameplay's simple point-and-click stuff, but the hollow pen mechanic is pure DS magic. You literally draw circles on the touchscreen to carve through time, peek into old moments, and change what happened. Except that every fix cracks something else. For example, a death erased means a memory lost, and a friend saved means a future broken. The butterfly effect becomes your homework, and the plot spirals through realities. For example, Ethan's friends will die, reappear, and die again. Cafes will burn down, dogs will live twice, and this mysterious girl named Corey keeps knowing more than she actually should have known. Someone else, Irving, has a pen too, and he's using it to rewrite things in his way, to his desires. The story turns from high school melodrama into a full-on tragedy about obsession, guilt, and the cost of trying to perfect the past. And you've also Uncle Derek. At first, he's just the family screw up begging for money, but as the story unfolds, he becomes the emotional spine of the whole game. The man without powers who still throws himself through time to save the people he actually loves. And Ethan is the protagonist, I mean sure, but Derek is actually the true hero. He's the proof that courage doesn't actually need a glowing pen or whatever. It just needs someone willing to jump first. But also, Time Hollow wasn't actually a hit. It sold around 72,000 copies in Japan that year, and barely a whisper in the West. I remember seeing one lonely copy at Game Mania, like it had accidentally fallen out of a time rift. Konami never revisited it though, no sequel, and there's also no remaster, just one self-contained loop that ends the moment you close the DS. And the game has a really great message. It asks one simple question: if you could fix everything that went wrong in your life, would you still be you afterward? And I could go on, but there's a time limit, so I will keep it limited. The point I'm trying to make is that these games weren't designed to be like really blockbusters. They were passion project, experiments, sometimes downright risks by the developers. They're like their little secret adventure that only a lucky few stumbled upon. And if you owned even one of these oddball titles, well, congratulations, you were part of gaming's most accidental secret club. And here's the thing, none of these games popped out of nowhere. I mean, that's obvious. They weren't miracles so much as products of a very specific moment when Nintendo handhelds basically said, hey, try something weird. Worst case, it still fits on a tiny cartridge. That's why you get a meta RPG that talks to you, a detective novel you hold like a paperback, and a time travel story you literally draw on with a pen, all sitting next to Pat Sims, rhythm agents, and math homework masquerading as fun. So, if you're wondering why the DS and 3DS ended up with libraries this deep and this odd, it's not just nostalgia talking. The ecosystem actually made this kind of creativity possible. Lower budgets, playful hardware, massive audiences. You didn't have to sell 1 million to matter, and the machine practically begged developers to mess around. Which brings us to the bigger picture, why this era became a playground for experimentation and how hardware and economics lined up to make weird a viable business plan.